Hi everybody, welcome back. Again, my name is Kyle Dondero and I am a yoga instructor. Um, we have recently been switching, obviously, with the COVID-19 situation to a digital format. And so this is just a continuation of some of the digital offerings that I've been providing my students, and I am now providing to everyone on YouTube. And so what we've been doing is just reviewing some of the physical positions that we do in a physical yoga practice, right? We call those asanas. So the asana is a steady and comfortable posture position with the body. More traditionally, asana was really focused on getting the body ready and set for seated meditation, that idea of contemplation. We have a physical body that can get stiff and achy. Being a recent and new parent, I've noticed that taking care of a baby, right, picking that baby up, holding the baby, I can get real stiff in my back and my legs. So, the way that we live our life and the perpetuation of ill movement patterns or our inability maybe to find rest and relaxation can cause really strong physical agitation, something that our mind really just can't get away from. We feel our body, those aches and those pains, and then we identify with the body a little bit more. So the physical asanas are a way for us to open up and alleviate some of those points of contention within the body, right? The aches and the pains, the illness maybe that we're experiencing. So the physical poses and the breathing, it's a holistic practice, but a lot of those elements help to pull our attention away from the body, stop being so identified with it. So again, just a brief introduction, but let's get right back into those poses that we were doing before. So I had made a video previously of a Warrior 1. I'm just going to go ahead and start right there. Again, we're going to go right through the beginning of Warrior 1, show some variations, move into a Warrior 2 and Warrior 3. Right? We call this pose Warrior Virabhadrasana. Virabhadrasana has 3 versions, like I just pointed out, Warrior 1, 2, and 3. They are distinctly different from one another. Warrior 1 is a forward-facing, like a frontal plane type of a posture, right? So our hips are closed to the front, the short end of our mat. We have a front leg that is going to be bent. The knee is bent, so it's a flexion in the knee. Warrior 1, Warrior 2 contain flexions in the knee, whereas Warrior 3 has an extension of the leg. Warrior 1 also being facing the front. Our arms are typically raised up, right? So we're doing an extension through the shoulders. And then Warrior 2, we're turned out to the side. We have our knee facing forward, but yet we're opening the hips, right? So we're a little bit more sideways oriented, a little bit laterally oriented. And then Warrior 3, we actually are balancing on our standing leg. Warrior 1 and Warrior 2 are both bipedal in the sense that both feet are on the mat, and then Warrior 3 is just one, right? So we're going to be balancing on that standing leg, and again, having 3 distinct expressions of a warrior pose. All right, so for Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1, we encounter this pose if you come from the Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga lineage, right? You're going to experience Warrior 1 in your Sun Salutation series that you do at the initial warm-up. If you follow more of a Hatha Yoga tradition, again, you're going to maybe experience the Warrior 1 in your Sun Salutation. Other traditions, for example, in the Kundalini Yoga, for example, they do a little bit more like kneeling and seated postures, a few standing things. Maybe you don't experience Warrior 1. But anyways, yes, Warrior has 3 versions. Warrior 1 is encountered traditionally in our Sun Salutation series, and then Warrior 2 and Warrior 3 are just single expressions of the pose that aren't found in any particular flow. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. So behind me I've got the yoga mat. Hopefully you'll be able to see the majority of my upper body in the frame. If not, that's okay. It's not necessary to see every single part of the body, just generally knowing where to place our feet, what position to orient ourselves, our hips, our shoulders, our head, our gaze. Each yoga posture, each yoga pose is going to be unique to you as an individual. Despite all of us generally looking the same, having physical bodies, we're all built a little bit differently, and so certain yoga poses will be more accessible to one person, whereas they might not be accessible to another, and vice versa, right? So we're all going to have things that we're good at and things that we're not good at. And so when you are trying a yoga pose, just remember that this is for you to experience yourself, and you do not need to be comparing how you look in a yoga pose to how someone else looks in a yoga pose. The essential practice, the core essence of yoga itself, is the deepest, most connection with yourself, the deepest essence of your own beingness. We want to connect with that. And so if we are comparing ourselves to other, if we're saying, hey, I'm not as good as other, then we're just completely missing the point. We still have a lot of work to do. So again, let's go ahead and move into it. We're going to do these 3 yoga poses from a standing position. And like I said, Warrior 1 is something that you would find in the Sun Salutation series. It's a Sun Salutation B traditionally, as it's maybe written out. There's Sun Salutation A, B, and C. This one is found in Sun Salutation B, the second version. But anyways, again, we're starting in a standing position, so if you're just tuning in or skipping forward, right, we're going to just stand at the top of our mat in Tadasana. So I'm going to go right back there. Okay, so Warrior 1, again, is a forward facing pose. We have a lunge, and the front leg is bent, so this would be a crescent lunge, an Anjaneyasana, right? So that's also a forward lunge. We have a flexion in the front knee, and my back heel is lifted, and that's a distinct difference between crescent lunge and Warrior 1. So just to show you, Warrior 1 is going to look something like this, where your hips are forward, chest is forward, back leg is straightened, front leg is bent with the knee over the ankle or foot, and we have some version of our arms either in the front, raised up with the hands apart, or hands can be together with right thumb overlapping left, right, or even gazing up in between the hands. So this is Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. Okay. So to get into Warrior 1 from Tadasana and really practicing our mindfulness, right, our internal awareness, the conscious awareness of what we're doing, right? Mindfulness is just about being in the present moment without letting yourself just be absent-minded, just wandering around mentally. So a mindful approach to our yoga poses is to go slow. So starting in our Tadasana, we're going to feel the body, observe what's happening with our breath, observe what's happening with our posture, and then we can move into Warrior 1 in a as coordinated way as possible. So in a Hatha yoga tradition, we would maybe start in Tadasana or move from another pose, but we would take our time to get into the posture, and we would coordinate our movements with our breath. So nice slow inhale and slow exhale. You can, of course, just jump right on into the pose if you are familiar with the posture, but let's systematically get into it in a nice mindful way, all right? So standing in Tadasana, our mountain pose, we're gonna have the shoulders rolled back, the thumbs turned outward, right, pushing down through the heels. Right, the crown of the head is reaching up, and we've got a nice regal, firm, secure pose here. All right, good. Take a nice big inhale, and as you exhale, bring the chin to the chest. Right, we're going to step our left foot back and turn the hips slightly open to the sides to get stood up. So as you inhale, take your left foot and step it back with the left foot facing the top left corner of your yoga mat. So we exhale here. Then with an inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up horizontally. And you might be saying to yourself, this looks like warrior two, but we're not staying here. So we inhale, bring the arms up, and with an exhale, we're going to wrap our hips back forwards. So effectively, we're locking in our back left foot here. So as you inhale, go ahead and rotate to the hips to the front. Turn the torso with that to the front. Try to keep that back left heel pressing into the mat. Good. And we'll take the arms up with a big breath in. And then as you exhale, bend the front right knee, finding your warrior one. Okay, so some versions for warrior one. If we have issue with the knee, we can straighten the leg a little bit more. Taking that flexion out can help reduce maybe some agitation that we feel in the anterior part of our knee, the front part of our knee. Right, that's just very nice to do. You can also go forwards and backwards like this if you're looking for a little bit of a stimulation for the quadricep. Okay, so that's the lower body, an option for the lower body. Now for the upper body, right, we can have our hands, you can stay at the hips. If I've got some shoulder issues going on, I can't really reach the arms up overhead, just keep my hands at my hips. Another option alternatively is to just place the palms together in a nice prayer position. And then also that traditional version with the arms up overhead. Palms can be together or apart, and our gaze can be up or forwards. Now for a little bit more activation in our back, we can cactus the arms. So we can take the arms out to the sides and just really squeeze those shoulder blades together, opening the chest. We can lift the gaze, right? And so this opening of the chest is just going to bring a little bit more personal power, sense of power inside of our beingness, right? I believe that there's I don't know what the study is, but if you keep your arms raised in a Y position and you say yes to yourself for a few minutes, it can boost your self-confidence. I'll try to look that up and share it in the comments. But keeping your arms open, your chest lifted, right? This is exposing our heart and our solar plexus, right? So the solar plexus related to the personal ego, right? And the heart is related to the unconditional love. So we're sort of opening up the ego, opening up the heart, and trying to bring that love, that divine love to ourselves, right? So this is an option. All right, so these are all options for our traditional warrior one. Now, there's another version of warrior one called humble warrior. Now, humble warrior is with our hands behind us. You're going to interlace your fingers, and then when you do both sides, make sure that you change the cross of your fingers. But we interlace our fingers behind the back, straighten the arms. You use an inhale to lift the chest, and with an exhale, we're going to fold forward, ideally bringing the shoulder to the knee on the inside. So we call this our humble warrior. Now when you're in humble warrior, hips tend to open to that side. Try to keep those hips closed. All right, good. So I know that we were just exploring some of the options for our warrior one. To come out of the pose, all we have to do is, if our arms are up, right, no matter where the arms are, bring the hands either back to the hips or palms together to the center of the chest and step forward for Tadasana. All right, reset the pose, find Tadasana again, and switch sides. All right, so again, what's that review? Tadasana, take a big inhale, we exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, we step our left foot back, bring the arms up horizontally. Exhale, wrap the hips to the front. Inhale, bring both arms up. Exhale, bend the knee, warrior one. Stay here for 5 breaths or more. Remember, conscious breathing. Bring the hands to the center of the chest. Step forward when we're finished. Switch sides. All right, warrior one, again, forward facing. Warrior two is to the side. So let's review warrior two. Same thing, we will step back as we exhale, and then we're going to bring our arms up just from there. So we're going to be in a good position, but we have to step back a little bit further than we did in warrior one. So from our Tadasana, again, nice tall regal posture, connected, grounded. We're going to exhale, bring the chin to the chest. As we inhale, we'll step back, bring our arms up horizontally. Now, placement of our feet for warrior two versus warrior one. Again, warrior one, we need to be just a little closer than warrior two. That'll help us wrap our hips forwards. Now, warrior two, again, a little bit wider because we are doing a lateral lunge, right? So I'm facing the front here. This is the front. This is to the side. That's the lateral side, right? So we step our feet back, and when we raise our arms up overhead, I would say this is a great moment just to make sure that your wrists are over the ankles, right? That's a nice distance for our body, and I just kind of see that. I think of the Leonardo's drawings of the universal man in the circle, right? Arms spread out and standing, right? You can see that circle. It's supposed to be a proportional representation of geometric elements, right? So anyways, so when we step back, I like to say, just line up wrists with your ankles. We're going to inhale, arms horizontally, looking at our right hand as we exhale, the forward knee. So now I say forward is the short end of the mat. We're going to exhale, bend the knee, again, reaching through the fingertips. All right, now distinct difference between warrior one and warrior two, right? Warrior one is facing the front. Warrior two, we're facing to the side. So what that means is once we start keeping our hips open, this knee tends to collapse inwards. So try your best to keep that bent knee over the ankle. We're going to be using the outside edge of our front leg's hip. So this is my right side. If you're on the left side, it's going to be your left hip. But squeeze that glute medius. It's going to help keep this knee open. All right. Position of the upper body. The shoulders are over the hips. We want a slight tuck of our tailbone. And again, the shoulders are relaxed, but you're reaching through the fingertips and looking at that leading hand. All right, now warrior two doesn't have as many variations necessarily as warrior one. We can still draw that knee back if we've got some issues with our leading knee. So just straightening the leg a little bit can help alleviate some of that anterior knee issues related to the patella, the patellar tendon, and things like that. Another option, right, is we can just take our hands to our hips if we've got some shoulder issues, or just bring the hands to the center of the chest, right? And then we have what's called reverse warrior. So warrior one, we had a humble warrior, which was leaning forward, arms behind us. Reverse warrior here is leaning back to the back of the mat. Now, what I've noticed in my yoga classes is that when we lean back, a lot of people tend to turn towards the short end of the mat and reach overhead. So let's watch. We're going to have our arms horizontally placed, right? We're in warrior two. Reverse warrior is simply letting our back arm dangle down. We're not placing any sort of pressure on our leg, but left hand can come to the hip or behind us with the palm facing away. And we take our front palm, inhale the palm straight up into the air, and as we exhale, we're leaning back, bringing left shoulder towards the floor. So again, our hips, our chest, and our shoulders stay open to the long side of the mat. We just inhale to come out of that, right? Warrior two. Now warrior two is a great pose. Well, all the poses are great, I should say. But the warrior two feet placement, you have a lot of other poses that can come out of this. We have side angle pose, extended side angle pose. You can do the bind here, right? That can get you set up for triangle pose as well. And then if we just take our foot forward a little bit more and turn to the front, we're at pyramid pose. Or if we turn this foot out to the side here, now we're in wide leg forward fold position. So warrior two feet placement gives us a lot of options if we're moving into more of a vinyasa class. Gives us, again, a lot of placement, a lot of different things that we can do. All right, coming out of the warrior two, right, we're just gonna step our left foot forward, so take a nice inhale. You can straighten that right leg. As you exhale, step forwards, Tadasana. Take a moment to reset, and then of course, switch sides. All right, so just to review again, we're in Tadasana. Take a big inhale. We will exhale, step our left foot back. Look at the placement of our feet. Inhale the arms up horizontally. Looking at that leading arm. Exhale, bend the knee. Warrior two. Good. Reverse warrior. Warrior two. Stepping forwards. Tadasana. Okay. Now our third warrior is warrior three. And as I mentioned, warrior three is a balancing pose. Warrior three and warrior one are similar in the sense that our shoulders and our hips face the front of the mat, whereas warrior two again is open to the long side of the mat. All right, so let's move into warrior three from the back of our mat. Now I know that we're starting here in Tadasana, but we're going to be Tadasana at the back of our mat. And this is going to be something that maybe you experienced in the Bikram yoga or the hot yoga series. I know it's a little contentious to say Bikram because of the history now that we've learned of him and his training style. But they would start basically at the back of the yoga mat and move into warrior three from here. So we'll give that a try. It's nice because basically you step in the middle of the mat and you go right into your balance. So let me show what warrior three is. Warrior three, again, being a balance, right? We're going to have our back leg extended horizontally, and then our arms, our hands, can be at a variety of places. So the traditional view of warrior three would be right there, horizontally with our arms reached out in front of us and the leg back behind us. Okay, now other options are arms out to the sides, palms together, hands at the hips, or arms alongside the leg. Now moving into warrior three can be done a variety of ways. And like I said, we're going to start at the back of our mat in Tadasana just to make it a nice flowing hatha pose. So from the back of our mat with our feet together or apart, doesn't matter. Whichever version of Tadasana you choose, I'm going to be feet apart. And keep our shoulders rolled back, obviously, nice, tall, regal, grounded pose, like I've mentioned before. Okay, so we're going to inhale and bring the arms up overhead. So as you inhale, sweep the arms either out to the sides or forwards and up. You can leave the palms together or hands apart, your choice. Good, take an exhale there. Now, as you inhale, let's lift our right leg. For this demo, we're going to lift our right leg up in front of us, big inhale, and then step right into the middle of the mat as we exhale. So exhaling, good. Back left heel comes off of the floor, and we keep that leg active as we tip forwards into our warrior three as we exhale. Now, we'll stay here for 5 long breaths. Inhale and exhale, nice and slow. And then to come out of the pose, right, we'll just land that left foot back behind us. Inhaling the arms up, we'll exhale, step to the back of the mat, returning to our Tadasana. All right, and then you'd switch sides. Now, Warrior 3 is a fun pose, again, because you have a variety of options for placement of the arms, and then you have a variety of movements that you can put onto the pose to make it a fun vinyasa flow sequence. And what I like to do is, in my classes, I've always enjoyed playing around with Warrior 3, and then taking that back leg, bringing it up in front of me, right, and then crossing over, moving into an eagle pose, coming back on up, and then moving into Warrior 3. Like, that is just such a fun little flow for me. I'm not sure why, but I just have always enjoyed doing that movement. You can also move it in standing splits, for example, but a lot of options for our yoga poses, but those are the three warriors. So we've done Warrior 1, Warrior 2, and Warrior 3. So I appreciate your time and your attention. Go ahead and send me a message if you would like to talk a little bit more about the yoga poses. And otherwise, I will see you for the next round. All right, thanks, y'all.